Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Wednesday night. We're back, David Hero, and this week we're going to go in depth on the WWE Raw version of the Money in the Bank matchup. Also, we've got interactive Ask the Booker and the History Book, looking back at Bash at the Beach, 1994. The Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night starts right here, right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero. What's so funny? Why don't you try? Try, put forth some effort to be a professional for once in your life.
They didn't do a very good job of cleaning up the set after Saturday night.
You know, by the way, I got a bone to pick with you about Saturday night. I don't know if you saw the door on the way in, the one that's going to hit you on the way out.
Okay.
No props/toys are allowed in the facility without the official approval of the general manager, not Zack Ryder.
Well, no, because, you know, I can't wait to see what he does on Friday night.
Maybe you saw it last Friday night.
No, I didn't. It's this Friday night.
He's been asking people all week what he wants, what they wanted to have him do this Friday night.
They want to have him win a match. That's what they want to have him do.
Let's go to this week's In-Depth segment, ladies and gentlemen. And what we're going to talk about first is, should the Raw version of the Money in the Bank only contain former
I'm not going on
WWE champions?
Weird kabuki stuff happens when you do that kind of stuff.
As you know, announced for the matchup are 4 participants. And, well, thus far anyways. And they're all former champions. So does this defeat the purpose of what the Money in the Bank match is?
Absolutely it does. And here's why. Because the Money in the Bank is supposed to develop and showcase your bright young future, right?
Yeah.
Last year, how great were those 2 Money in the Bank matches?
Right.
Won by Alberto Del Rio and Daniel Bryan Danielson. Now, when you put Big Show, Chris Jericho, John Cena, you know, former WWE champions in this Money in the Bank match, that tells me one thing. The young studs, the supposed blue chippers on the Raw roster are not ready. And they don't feel comfortable putting those guys. I mean, can you really even name 5 guys to put the Money in the Bank on the Raw roster? That
you could have done Truth. You could have done Kingston. You could have done The Miz. Well, even though he's busy.
Blah. Really? Nobody's going to care. They, as talented as R-Truth and Kofi Kingston are, okay?
You know, Usher claps like that.
Is
like
it believable?
Well, that's the joy of the matchup. You never thought Shelton Benjamin would win Money in the Bank.
No.
But you watched it every time he was in it because you knew you would get a show.
No, you wanted to see Crash and Burn with Shelton Benjamin.
So who are you going to get that from in this match? Big Show? Yeah, can't wait for that.
You know what? I'm willing to bet Big Show takes a huge bump.
Great, he can take a huge bump. I want 74 of them.
Well, you're not gonna get
because that's
74.
what I've been conditioned to expect in this matchup.
Well, and that's your problem. You have expectations, and that's always the first step to disappointment. But
yeah, expecting you to perform each week right here is really a disappointment.
The problem is that the young guys on the Raw brand aren't ready. I can't name the young guys on the Raw brand.
Does this make sense, though, for the childrens, if you will? Because they want to root for somebody in this matchup. And they're going to root for John Cena in this matchup, whether he wins or loses.
You know what the awkward thing is? You only really have one singles match announced. Or one that they're building around. And that's Punk Bryan with AJ. So that's really a 3-way. Or, no, yes. No, she's the referee. But then you got the 2 Money in the Bank matches. You don't have a U.S. title match. You don't have an Intercontinental title match.
As of this taping.
No, because
they're in the Money in the Bank.
They're in the Money in the Banks. They haven't.
That's because Christian's scared of Cody Rhodes.
No, he's not. He beat him already.
He's afeared of him
several times. And then you really haven't developed the tag team division to put those titles on there. You really haven't seen
the Primetime who?
The Primetime players.
Thank you.
You really haven't seen Layla on Raw because AJ's taken over that show. As much as I enjoy Money in the Bank, you only have 3 matches. That's not good business.
If you had to pick right now, and on Saturday, obviously, we'll be the booker for Money in the Bank, but if you had to pick right now, who wins on the Raw side?
On the Raw side, as much as it pains me.
Don't say it.
Well, it depends, because as of this taping, we haven't seen what happened on Monday Night Raw. Okay? If The Miz is in there, I hope The Miz wins. Seriously. I really do, because then he truly will be the first one to cash it in and not win it. Okay? Other than that...
You said that last time.
Other than that,
See how that worked
I
out
think
for you.
John Cena's going to win.
He's going to have somebody carry the briefcase for him. He's not carrying it.
That's fine, and he will cash it in, and he will challenge CM Punk. And you know what? As much as we don't want to see that match, we need that match right now.
Why?
Because it's the two biggest stars. It's like Hogan versus Savage. It's like the mega powers. They need, listen, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, as entertaining as it's been, has only been that entertaining because of one person, AJ.
To you.
To most of the audience. And you know why to most of the audience? Because most of the audience has not complained that AJ is involved in that program. No one says, oh, she's stupid, get her out of there. They all talk about it. They all like it. They all find it entertaining and funny, haha, and kabuki-ish and whatever else. They need to go back to the star power. They're going to be in Los Angeles, California, Hollywood, bright lights, the whole deal.
For SummerSlam.
Yes, for SummerSlam. And hey, you have Brock Lesnar against Triple H, CM Punk versus John Cena. There's your four big stars in the company, right? That's what they need. That's what has to happen at SummerSlam.
That's this week's In-Depth segment, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to answer your email, and that will happen in just a moment right here on the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Wednesday night. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Wednesday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero. What are you clearing your throat for? Are you wearing a Greenfield High School shirt? What the hell is
my
that?
throat. This is Smallville. This is where I went to high school.
Oh, there's a hawk on there, and that's where I went to high school.
No, that's not really a hawk. I'm like a talent.
He didn't go to school. He's an alien.
It's a talent.
Oh, you probably are trying to build a wall too, aren't you?
I have lots of walls. Really?
Let's go to this week's Interactively. I just wonder why nobody's worried about the Canadian border.
It's Canada.
People talk about immigration and immigration reform, but we're only talking about one border, so why don't you just say what you're actually saying?
You know what? I'm comfortable with Canada because of Arda and Jimmy. As long as
they
they're
sneak
there,
over all the time.
Well, Arda does.
Interactive, ladies and gentlemen, and this week's question comes from Jesse Smith. Are you ready?
Yeah. Where's Jesse from?
Somewhere.
Is that Uncle Jesse from Hazard?
No, that would be Jesse Duke.
Oh, Jesse
Of Dem Duke Boys.
Dem Duke Boys.
Jesse says the following, and I quote, "Since the late 90s, early 2000s, I've noticed that WWE has had too many pay-per-view events throughout the year. It seems that when a good storyline comes around, it takes forever for it to end, but one that had huge potential is quick to end, or they quickly muddy it up by adding something or someone new to it, which if you happen to miss a show, get quite confusing to the viewers. Would it be possible for WWE to go back? I'm sorry, let me start that over. Would it be possible for WWE to go back to the main pay-per-views, such as WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, etc., with the pay-per-view leading into each one? If this is possible, it would at least make. I can't. I'm sorry,
Sounds
Jesse.
like
I can't. Look at the word order here. The intern's jacked up his email. That's all. There are words not here.
No, Jesse
I want to know
Hazard.
right now. I want a concerted effort so that when I get these emails, I want to be able to read them, and I also want to know what happened to that silly string and that damn Spider-Man thing you were using last week. This is the last time.
String. That was spider webs. Psst, psst. Damien, should I answer the question, since obviously you're frustrated? First of all, if you're confused what happens on the shows, then you got to start watching us more often, because we'll figure it out and we'll explain it. But they need monthly pay-per-views. They do. That is their business model. That's how they make their money. Pay-per-view buy rates are humongous for WWE. Yes, they're not as big as they used to be, but they still do a fantastic number. Really?
I'm meditating.
Well, it should be like this, not like that. You're doing it the wrong. There you go. Now, I feel better?
This feels dirty.
Well, it's the way you're supposed to do it.
There are too many pay-per-views.
No, there's not.
There are.
There's 12.
There's too many. Every month, they're guiding to the next pay-per-view. That's the only
And wait
thing.
till Raw goes 3 hours.
Yep.
Now
What's the difference between Raw and a
now you're
pay-per-view?
going to have 5 pay-per-views a month.
And what's the difference between the Monday night free show and a pay-per-view? Could damage your business.
Well, one's free. The other one's $45.
Jesse, thank you for that email. My apologies
No.
for the
Why are you thanking? You just had a conniption about the whole thing.
No,
Listen, I know it's been hot around here lately, but you really need to find your inner peace. Search your feelings.
I tried, and you yelled at me for which way my finger was pointing.
No, I want you to do it the right way.
It's time now to go into this week's history book, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to take a look back at Bash at the Beach, 1994.
The
David
history
Hero.
book. Bash
It's
at
the
the-
first Bash at the
94?
Beach. It was in Orlando, Florida.
Yes, it was.
At the O-Arena at the time, and it was Hulk Hogan's big matchup with Ric Flair. Shaquille O'Neal was there. It was hoopla. It was circumstance. It was the largest audience in the history of WCW. It was the beginning of a big run by Hulk Hogan in WCW,
Hulk
and
Hogan.
Hogan would win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Hogan had just signed with WCW that summer, and right away they pushed
Ticker
him.
tape parade down Disney MGM
Instead
Studios.
of building Hogan up slowly,
He's Hulk Hogan.
no, with other feuds to build to the world title, boom, right into the big main event right away, which kind of alienated Hogan from a lot of the WCW fans.
I don't think it did at that time.
I think it hurt because they love Ric Flair, and now the guy
Ric Flair was the anti-Hogan.
Yes, and now the guy from New York comes down and just steamrolls everybody in WCW. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy that this happened. Shaquille O'Neal.
The interns are trying to get my attention over here to apologize for their little mishap.
Well, they
We're
should.
broadcasting. Just send in the next piece of talent that's supposed to be joining us here, okay? Just leave us alone. We're trying to do this taping thing.
You know, so
Got a surprise
Shaquille
for you.
O'Neal, Mr. T, they're all there.
Don't forget Sensual Sherry.
You know what? God rest her soul. God bless her heart. Sherry Martel was there, and it was a huge pay-per-view. It's not like, you know, how they were doing things now where they got to bring other people involved in the matches. Hogan brought all of his big-time celebrity friends.
Other matchups on the card, though, Lord Steven Regal defeating Johnny B. Bad. He kept the World Television Championship at that point. Sting was injured. He was supposed to be in that matchup originally. Vader, who was with Harley Race at the time, defeated the, oh, good Lord, the Guardian Angel.
The Big Boss Man, he had at least several dozen different gimmicks in WCW. And you know what? God, you know, another amazing talent. Hogan bringing all of his buddies into WCW at the time and did a fantastic job. Yeah, it was awesome.
Steve Austin defeated Ricky Steamboat to retain the
Here we go.
Oh, hey, nice shirt. It's like you float in on a cloud. That's a nice shirt. That's high.
Really?
Oh,
That
yeah,
shirt?
Lay it on me. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Excuse me for a minute.
But so many people are turning your shirt down. You must really pay Linda a lot of money for that. The shirt, not the kiss.
The shirt's green, and so is your jealousy right now.
You know, green is not a popular color with Super Friends. It reminds us of kryptonite, a weakness. And of course, Linda's wearing it, so it makes perfect sense in the entire planet right now.
It was Hogan's night. It was Hogan's moment. Hogan had to win that matchup.
And he had to, because they built everything around Hogan that summer.
And it worked initially. 1 year later is when the fans did start to turn on Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later was the formation of the NWO at Bash at the Beach 1996.
And that's when the business changed forever.
Absolutely it did. And we'll talk about Bash at the Beach 96, I'm sure, in subsequent weeks in more detail than we just did. But that is this week's history book. And now it's time to go to, I still don't understand why anyone would like go to their computer, log on, and send an email for you to answer and expect you to answer it
Because
without
they
spend.
want an honest to goodness truth opinion. Unlike that Truth Martini Joker, they want the Dave Mojito opinion.
You gonna say that to Truth Martini this Saturday when he's here in Milwaukee
Of course I will.
at Turner Hall?
I am not afraid of Truth Martini.
You were afraid of him this past Sunday when you no-showed at the Summerfest gig.
It's Summerfest. There's way too many people there. I don't do lines.
Let's go to this week's Ask the Booker, ladies and gentlemen. This week's question comes to us from Jason DeBar. Jason says, what does the WWE need to do in order to take the company into the next generation? Is it time to start chopping down the totem pole, so to speak? Will we see guys like John Cena, Randy Orton, Big Show, Christian, Triple H, Kane, and Rey Mysterio finally start to put these younger talents over? Or are we doomed to see this company continue to allow guys like John Cena, Randy Orton, to remain atop the WWE totem pole and continue to bury anyone who gets remotely close to the top? I mean,
Well, you know what?
I'll let you answer.
Christian is the guy that'll put people over. Rey Mysterio, when he comes back, will be putting people over. Big Show's not. He's a giant. Unless he does an Andre the Giant and puts over an Ultimate Warrior type character, maybe like a Sheamus, that's one thing. Randy Orton, who knows what's going to happen with him? I mean, there's been tons of speculation. He may not come back with any type of push whatsoever. But John Cena's the company guy. He's the one that everyone wants to be in that company. He's the top guy, the top moneymaker, the main events. When you think WWE right now, this generation, you think John Cena. And that's where we're going to be stuck with that. Don't,
of The Miz.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
How do you know what's happening in here?
Because
it's not like Herman's head.
I sit next to you, I can see straight through, I can see everything. See it right there, I see it right through there. It's amazing.
Pretty sure I hate you.
That's hurtful.
Well, you're devout to feelings. I mean, it doesn't matter.
No, it'll be fine.
I thank all of you for tuning in here to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday. We'll see you again on Sudden Impact Radio tomorrow, right after the live Impact Wrestling. And this Saturday, we'll have all the full results and conversation about Destination X on pay-per-view on Primetime Saturday night.
And let's see who else is going to turn down a Nelson Family t-shirt.
This is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night. We'll see you Saturday.